Welcome Kumas to another World of Warcraft guide. You're here with Kuma. This time I'm going to be giving you tips on what you should be doing in World of Warcraft pre-patch in order to maximize your gold income before WoW Legion. I'm doing all of these, but you guys can use as many as you want, and it will vary server to server, so be sure to double check your AH before you invest any gold. I'm also going to be releasing a minimum of 2 gold guides a week leading up to WoW Legion, so be sure to subscribe in order to get those as soon as they come out. Okay, let's get started. The fundamental one, which I have covered in my previous guides, that most people are aware but some are not, is that they should be spending their garrison resources on buying materials. As you can see, I am buying Dranic Dust for 16 garrison resources each, which is about as cheap as it's going to get. But the beautiful part is we get so many garrison resources that this costs nothing at all. It's peanuts. It's free resources that we can then use to convert for other materials. Today, the cheapest one is Dranic Dust, so I'm going to buy a few of those because I seem to be running low. I only have 26,000 Dranic Dust and I need a bit more. What I do with these Dranic Dust is I go to the Enchanting Hub in my garrison and I convert them into temporal crystals. And then I use those temporal crystals to make enchants or pop them onto the AH. Both of them work. If you don't have an enchanter, it's fine. As long as you have an Enchanting Hub in your garrison, you can do this. But if you do have an enchanter, it might be beneficial for you to craft some enchant and sell those on the AH. But it's up to you. As you can see, temporal crystals sold for me for about 149 gold the other day, which is why I like making them. Another thing you guys should be stockpiling on is cheap mounts. I've been picking up these Panthers, the Sapphires, the Sunstones, and even the Ruby Panthers. I've been overbid. Whenever they sort of hit a nice price, which I find pretty cheap. I've been bidding on them when they're below 24,000 gold, mostly because I know I can sell them for over 30,000 gold. And I know that the crafting cost is a minimum of 18,000 gold because one of the spheres that you buy as a trade good item in Pandaria cost 18,000 gold. So the minimum price to craft these mounts is 18,000 plus the materials, and the price of these materials will go up in WoW Legion because these materials will be used for the enchanting illusions. So the crafting price of these mounts is going to go up in WoW Legion, so picking them up now will yield us a good healthy profit in WoW Legion, but I always find it good to invest in mounts, particularly when they're cheap, because gold inflation drives up the value of these mounts. Now, the purchasing power of our gold does go down, but if you end up investing your gold in things such as mounts and pets, you will maintain your purchasing power or make a healthy profit. That's what I've been doing, and I've been sending them to Sniper Bank, who, as you know, has a lot of mounts sitting in the guild bank. You should probably get a guild bank if you're interested in investing. They're not too difficult to get. You just have to buy a guild charter in any capital city, get 10 people to sign it, and you've got yourself a guild bank. You end up having to pay some gold to get extra tabs in your guild bank, but it's well worth the investment. If you're anything like me and have ended up stocking up these Iron Starlights, now is the time to sell. They sell for over 600 gold. I bought these for about 50 gold back in the day at the start of WoD, but you know, they sell for 600 gold now. I would hang on to these Gronlings just a little bit longer. They're selling for about 4,000 gold now, but I think the price is going to go even higher. Of course, we're going to hold on to these Onyx Panthers. The price is going to go bomb. I bought these for about 30k gold. We're going to hang on to these pets. Pets are usually very good. And we're going to hang on to all these Panthers. Unfortunately, I can't fit them in my guild bank, but I'm sort of stockpiling them around here. I always buy them when they're below 24,000 gold. That's just me. That's my rule of thumb. I like always having a rule of thumb, but you should be buying mounts when they're cheap. Buy cheap, sell expensive. Or buy when the price is low, sell when the price is high. Another item I like to purchase from the trade goods vendor is superfluous fur. Like the Dranic Dust, you can mail them off to your tailor, who can then convert them into Hexweave bags. Now, those are actually quite good to sell now in WoW Legion, because Hexweave bags are the largest bags in WoW Legion. They're not giving us any more bags that we know of yet, and if they do, they're going to be basically a gold sink. So the 30 slot bags are about as big as we're going to get, which means they're the most valuable bags at the moment, and you should be popping them onto the AH. For those of you that have watched my tailoring guide in the past, I did say to stockpile these bags. Now is the time to sell. Make sure to sell your Royal Satchels and Illusionary bags too. For whatever reason, the Royal Satchel actually sold for 1.5k, whereas the Hexweave bag sells for 1.1. I don't know how that works, but it works. So just sell it. Don't ask questions. Maybe because it's purple. Maybe people like purple. I like purple. Do you like purple? Another thing which I think goes without saying, but a few people miss, is using your profession daily cooldowns. If you're a tailor, you've got your daily cooldown to turn superfluous fur into cloth, and if you're an enchanter, you've got your daily cooldown to convert your luminous shard into a temporal crystal. Now this will sort of yield you a healthy profit, but at the end of the day, it's free money, and you should be doing it on a daily basis. I know certain professions don't actually make money these days just because, you know, the value of the trade good is a lot higher than that of the item that you get on your daily cooldown, so you should be avoiding those. But a good thing for enchanters is we can still make money on the weapon enchant volumes, as you can see I'm doing here. That's because I'm buying all the dust for basically absolutely nothing. I'm using garrison resources, converting to temporal crystals, and then everything becomes a profit. As you can see, I'm using my tailoring daily cooldown to convert some superfluous fur, as well as some Gorgon flytrap, into some pretty good Hexweave cloth and some Sorcerer's Water and Sorcerer's Air. We've managed to stockpile enough of these Hexweave cloth. I've got almost 10,000 of them, and I think I need about 100 to make a Hexweave bag. So going by that, eliminating 2 zeros, I've got about 91 Hexweave bags which I create, and I've got about, I think, 18 of these on White Wolf and another 53 in my bank. So I've got over about Hexweave bags. We should craft those. At the moment they're selling for 1,116 gold on the AH, so I might just pop into trade and see if I can actually sell any for, let's just say, 1,000 gold, just because AH likes to take a cut of our profits, so I might as well just sell it for flat gold and save myself the hassle. If you're running any AH markets like I am at the moment, which I am using for filming a guide, you should keep on top of those, because ever since more people have come back to World of Warcraft, those markets have become more and more competitive. As you can see, there's still plenty of gold to be made with leg armors. There's a few hundred gold profit per leg armor, but the markets have become a lot more intense, and I am filming a guide at the moment. So this footage will be going into that guide, but I am going to go back to the AH and make sure I am the lowest priced person selling these particular leg armors to make a profit. This toon has already made a profit. I think I invested about 2,000 gold. She's up to 3,600, and she's got about 12 leg armors of each and only 9 dragon scales, but she's already broken even a while ago, and everything she makes from now on is in profit. And she's got extra savage leather and black and dragon scales, so in I think under a week she's broken even and she's making profit from this particular AH market. So if you do own any markets on the server, make sure you keep on top of it, because competition is getting fierce. And I think in WoW Legion we'll go back to the olden days where competition was fierce, and the only way to make gold cap was through the AH, so it's going to be a very interesting time, but don't worry, I'm going to lead you guys through it. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a market on the AH and how to basically utilize it to make as much gold as possible. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Another thing you should be doing is doing all your garrison follower missions to get these primal spirits. 25 primal spirits can be traded for Savage Blood. Savage Blood has a minimum value of 50 gold because you can trade it at the trade good vendor for a bloodied sack of gold, which if you open has an average value of 51 gold. I have a guide for that. I've opened 300 of them, so I've confirmed this. So Savage Blood has a minimum value of 50 gold, which means if you pop it on the AH for more than 50 gold, you're making a profit. If you can't sell it on the AH, you'll be making 50 gold per Savage Blood. I've got 2 missions today, which are going to give me 50 primal spirits. That means I've got enough to buy 100 gold worth of Savage Blood from today alone. So make sure to do those, because you can still make gold from the garrison. Another thing you should be doing is killing Lord Kazzak. He drops you some very good epic items, and he also gives you Felbat and a little bit of gold. He's easy to do, and it's very easy to find groups. All you gotta do is open up your group finder, go to pre-made groups, custom find group, and you type in KAZZ. And as you can see, there's a Kaz group. So you basically apply for these groups, you fly to Kazzak, which is basically in Tanan Jungle. He is located up here. You go and kill him as part of your group, and you get your loot. You then pop to the AH and you sell your Felbat. Even if it's not worth a lot, it's something. Every time you get one of these blues from your garrison follow missions, you should disenchant them. Why? Because they're vendor for 11 gold and the disenchant value is 33 gold. You'll be making more gold by disenchanting them than you do vendoring them. Be warned though, using the Disenchanting Hub yields less resources than you would get being an enchanter. So if you are an enchanter, you're making more gold. If you're not, you're making less. This is one of the reasons why my Demon Hunter is going to be an enchanter. Calm down, Loke. It's okay. I will feed you soon. Another beautiful little tip that I would like to share with you is going to LFR and dungeons. However, you won't just be going for the loot, but you're going to be going to the Call of Arms. Reason why you're going to get these Savage Satchels of Cooperation. These things usually have about 500 gold in them, as well as a few blue BOA items, which you can then send to your enchanters, who will then disenchant them for gold. But you'll also get some of those runes, which you can then sell on the AH, and you'll make a little bit of gold with them. On top of that, you're going to make 154 gold and a little bit of valor. So, win-win. You can make close to 1,000 gold for whoa, what the hell was that? Okay, the world just disappeared temporarily. You can make close to 1,000 gold for doing LFR. I'm not even a healer, but I'm going to heal. I'm going to queue as a healer, because healers are in high demand. I am queuing. That's 2. This one doesn't have anything. This one has a DPS. There we go. We queue. Bam. We queued for all 3. We go in, and as soon as we finish, we're going to get a Savage Satchel of Cooperation. Now, I'm not going to do it because I'm actually filming a guide, so I'm busy. But if you basically went in... There, I said basically. If you go in and you complete the LFR, you will get one of these satchels. Now, to show you guys that I am a Kuma of my word, I have gathered some of these Savage Satchels of Cooperation on my hunter that's a DPS. Yes, you can get these things as a DPS. I know, I'm shocked, right? Who wants a DPS? I am going to open 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these bags so we can see exactly how much gold we get and exactly how many items we get. This way you get to see that I am a Kuma of my word. In the words of Monokuma, if there was a competition for honesty, I would take 1st, 2nd, and 4th place. If you guys are wondering who Monokuma is, you obviously haven't seen my Danganronpa playthrough. He's a psychopathic cute little teddy bear that forces teenagers to kill themselves in a battle royale in a high school. It's basically Hunger Games, but more battle royale style with a lot more blood and blue balls. I know, right? This is going to be extremely messy because I do not have a lot of bag space, so apologies in advance. The first one gave us 569 gold. I like the number 69. It gave us some of these hyper runes and all these other rooms, but all these little blue things, we mail these to tunes that can disenchant them. In this case, the Paladin and the Death Knight can disenchant them. The Hunter and the Shaman, neither of them are enchanters, so unfortunately I'm just going to right-click it. Ah, it's an epic. I can vendor it for 6 gold, or I can go and disenchant it for hopefully a Temporal Crystal. Beautiful thing about these things is, I am going to get a little bit of transmog. I'm going to open up another one. Another 500 gold. And I'm going to right click these 2, which I'm then going to disenchant. There we go, more epics. That is going to make a lot of crystals.
That's bound to me.
I know it is. I'm going to open up another one. Another 500 gold, and one of these empowers Apexis Fragments, which lets me upgrade an item to an epic. That's going to be awesome when I take this and give it to my enchanter, who is going to take it from my blue to an epic and get me a sweet temporal crystal. Let us open up another one. Another 500 gold. That is sweet. Now, just to save us a little bit of time, I am going to herf and just basically disenchant these things in the Enchanting Hub to show you guys exactly how many dust and hopefully temporal fragments we are going to get from these beauties and why you should be doing them. Like I said, you're going to get close to 1,000 gold doing these LFRs. You're going to get those 150 gold flat, and you're going to get 500 gold flat, and you're going to get some disenchanting, which is pretty cool. There we go, another luminous shard, which we can convert into a temporal crystal. Some more fragments. More fragments. Yes, I shall destroy things. More fragments. We got a Medallion of the Legion. We are up 4.8k. I like it, I like it, I like it. There we go. Now, since Lightning is an enchanter, she's going to get significantly more materials from disenchanting these things than my hunter did. But as you can see, one of these empowered Apexis crystals, if you take it, right-click it, and you left-click one of these blues, it will upgrade it to an epic. If you're upgrading your gear, that's cool. You can upgrade it 2 more times. But I am going to disenchant it, get myself a cool little temporal crystal, disenchant these blues, and hopefully get myself a luminous shard. But 10 dust isn't too bad either. As you can see, on a daily basis, the garrison gives us a fuck ton of garrison resources, which we could then trade in for trade goods. Now, the trick to this is to having extreme scavengers and scavengers. It's covered in my garrison update guide. So if you don't know about that, be sure to watch that. And to be buying the trade goods which are on sale on that particular day. I always buy them with their 16 garrison resources. And today that is Stranic Dust. The beautiful thing about the garrisons these days is they will not go to waste. I'm gonna have all my alts, even in WoW Legion, sitting in my garrison, getting me trade goods. Why? Because it's free money and it costs me absolutely nothing. As you can see, we ended up getting over 3,000 garrison resources today alone from doing absolutely nothing on my alt. My alt sits in the garrison all day and collects me my garrison resources. Apart from that, she occasionally gets some small Legion chests, but I'm saving those for later. Another thing many people overlook is using your Alchemy Transmutes to flip yourself a lot of gold. The Trillion Bar is usually a good way to make a lot of gold, but unfortunately on my server the price of Ghost Iron Bars and the demand of Trillion Bars is not in my favor, so doing that particular transmute will actually lose me 7 gold per cooldown. But luckily enough on my server, converting Volatile Life to anything will yield me a healthy profit. That is the transmute of living elements. Now, a good trick with the transmute of living elements that I cover in my guide, I set my hearthstone to the location where I want to get that particular volatile. In this case, I'm going to get volatile water, so I am going to hearth to Vashir in order to do the transmute where I have a 100% chance of getting volatile water. The reason I'm getting volatile water over the other ones is because on my particular server, volatile water has a tendency to be the highest priced volatile. At the moment, it's only 13 gold. But the other day I was selling them for about 30 gold. As you can see, Volatile Earth is only selling for 3 gold, Volatile Fire 9 gold, and Volatile Air 6 gold. So even today, Volatile Water is the most expensive. A good trick that I like to do for alchemy is having a second alchemist. Personally, I don't use all my professions. I like to have one of each, so I do have one of each. But in this case, alchemy hasn't been making me any money just because I'm too lazy to farm those herbs or basically farm them in the garden because I was making plenty of gold. But I do have 2 alchemists that I basically use for my transmutes every single day. And I am sorry for saying basically so much. I have to get that word out of my vocabulary and express myself a lot better. I need a better vocabulary. I need to improve my vocabulary. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Earthen Ring. I do need to improve my vocabulary. But please bear with me, no pun intended. English is my second language, and I don't think I'm doing too badly. That is why I do not have an Australian accent. I wasn't actually born here. Another thing you should be doing is making sure you're doing the follower missions for the Medallions of the Legion, as well as farming for those if you feel for it. I personally do not have a farming guide for the Medallion of the Legion, which I should probably make, but I'm sure there's plenty out there. You kill those level 100 Legion mobs that are surrounding Talador, which are located here, which I haven't done it in this particular character, but they're located here where Shatra is. You kill those level 100 mobs and have a very low % chance of dropping the Medallion of the Legion, which increases your reputation with all the citizens of Draenor by 1,000. I've been getting these from the follower missions because I'm too lazy to farm. I personally hate farming, but if you feel like farming, go for it. These sell on the AH today for about 4,800 gold. I consider that a reasonable price. They have been known on my server to go above 6,000 gold, but today they're selling for 4,800, which is still a good price. So we'll pop this particular medallion on the AH. But if they're selling below 4,000 gold on my server, I tend to hold on to them. But you should check your server economy because I am on Frostmourne, which is a highly populated realm, which means a lot of people have come back to World of Warcraft on my realm, so the demand is fairly high because a lot of people want to get those reputation achievements as well as buy a lot of transmog items. So the demand is fairly reasonable on my server, but if you're on a dead server, demand might not be very high, so check your AH before you go farming. Another thing which I consider a daily cooldown, especially for engineers, even though some of you might not, is the Blingtron 4000. Now, the engineers have a daily cooldown where they can create gear springs, which I no longer do just because I don't think it's worth it. But I do use the Blingtron 5000, sorry, it's not the 4000, it's the 5000. That does actually drop some nice little things. Now, I mostly get junk, which I end up vendoring anyway. You know, it's a few gold, sometimes a few hundred gold a day. But he does have a very small chance to drop that little orb that's used for crafting those ruby and sapphire panthers. And that's worth 18,000 gold in a trades good vendor. So if one of those does end up dropping, it's got a very, very low drop rate though. But if it does end up dropping, that particular day, you would have made a clean 18,000 gold. Even if you're not crafting these panthers yourself, you could still sell them on the AH. Another thing that you guys should be getting are these crates of salvage. These are the new ones that have been released since the pre-patch. The old ones are gone. I've still kept them and I'm going to do an opening video fairly soon. But the new crates do drop. They're a replacement for the old crates. And so far since the pre-patch, I have collected 717, which I will be opening. All you basically need is a Salvage Yard in your garrison, level 3, to get the large crate of salvage every single time you do a mission. It's almost 100% chance, but you won't always get one, but most of the time you will. And like the old crates, we're going to see what they contain, but I have a feeling they contain some trade goods, some greens, and possibly some blues, which we can disenchant to get some more crystals. And of course, you should keep on top of your garrison buildings. As you can see, my Enchanter's Study and my mines are completely full, as well as my Frostwolf Tavern. So I'm going to go up, empty them out, put new resources in, and make sure I get myself a new follower if I need them. The mine is also an excellent place to get your mining up if you are leveling your profession. I have leveled all my mining on my characters up, but I have to do skinning, and I will be making a skinning guide later because I will be leveling up the skinning on my Demon Hunter, so I'll be showing you guys the best way to do it too. Another thing a lot of people neglect is the Navel Yard. I've been using it every single day just because it still does generate gold for us. You still can get these left sharks, which at the moment are actually selling for 28 gold in our servers. I bought about 157 of them, which I'm keeping in my bank. I ended up buying them when they were below 5 gold, so I have already made a profit on them. But you can still get them from the Navel Yard. I'm still doing it. We can still get things such as Sorcerer's Earth, Sorcerer's Air, Sorcerer's Fire, all that good stuff. There is no more gold in the Navel Yards, but we can still get these BOA blue items, which we can then send over to our enchanters, who can basically disenchant them for mats. That's what I've been doing. I'm not going to do that one because it's only 39% success rate and I don't want to lose one of my ships, but you should be doing them on all your alts just so you can get some extra gold. You should also get a Tuskar fishing net, so every time your ships complete a mission, they bring back some fish. You're not going to make a huge amount of gold on these fish, but it is some extra gold. You get the Tuskar fishing net from Tanan Jungle. I think you have to be honored with Vulgin's headhunters in order to buy it from the quartermaster in the main building. If you are an alliance, I have no idea who you buy it from, but I hear Thoughtbot and Wowhead are your friends. Now lastly, and I shouldn't be saying this, but most importantly, you should be doing the WoW Legion invasion events to get the nether shards. What do you do with these nether shards, you may ask? Well, you basically, I said basically again, but you go to these damn quartermasters here. I'm not allowed to say the word basically. You go to these little quartermasters here. You've got this little guy here that's imprisoned in this little thing. And you buy these Felbat pups. They're 150 nether shards. I would hold on to them. Wait a year. Wait a year or two and they will go up in price. Of course, you can spend 200 shards to buy these ensembles, which are all the armor sets for a particular piece of armor, such as cloth, leather, mail, or plate. But I prefer doing all those damn Legion things and opening them up at the same time. As you can see, I've sort of gathered a few and I will open them now for you.
I can't put that there.
What do you mean I can't put that there? You sound like my girlfriend. Can't believe that came out. The blue ones should have a chance to drop these nether shards, so let's open them up, shall we? We got a piece of armor, piece of armor, piece of armor and a glaive. Piece of armor, piece of armor, armor, and 10 shards, armor, blah, 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 blah. You get how the story goes, right? And then you can infuse these... Whoa, it keeps opening. Wow, server's really buggy. Okay, you can stop now. You done? Cool. You can use these gossylated fell things to upgrade these pieces of armor. These are all an upgrade for me. Great, because I've been too cheap to repair my items because, you know, it's not like I have gold or anything. They're all an upgrade for me, which is beautiful. Upgrade is beautiful. Stage 1 of 6. That is sweet. It looks like I can upgrade it 6 times. So I'm going to upgrade it as many times as I can to make this weapon OP. This is going to be one hell of an OP glaive. And now we're going to open up these small Legion crests. Oh, they give us nether shards and boots. That's cool. And a belt. That's pretty cool. Who doesn't want one of these belts? Oh, and we got another one of these glaives. That is cute. That is cute as shit. I don't like these axes, so I will swap it out for a glaive. Thank you very much. A new pair of boots. I needed these just because my old ones are basically dead. You can basically... You can skip out on your repairs if you keep doing this. Another waist. It's exchanged. A pair of gloves. And I've pretty much got the entire ensemble just by doing it about 10 times. I've done the Legion invasion on this character about 10 times. I'm going to save all these blues to disenchant later. And I am going to buy some of these bats, which I will then send to my bank. Yes. 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 They're worth 2.3k at the moment. They were worth a lot more earlier. But I am going to hold on to them, and I'm going to let all these people flood the AH with them, and then I'm going to buy them up when they're under, let's see, under 200 gold, under 100 gold. Like those little starlets. Let's keep it under 100 gold and keep the profit margin nice and high. I know I've seen a few people selling these for about 100,000 gold. I honestly cannot believe people would buy them for 100,000 gold. But people have been known to buy some crazy things for some crazy prices. Another thing that I have been doing, and you will probably laugh at me, is that I buy these copper rods from the enchanting vendor and I pop them on the AH for 99 gold. This is going to be part of my profession guide for the demon hunters, but I've been doing that. And people have been buying that. I used to do that back in the day. And I also like to buy these little materials from the enchanting vendor too. I'm a little tricky bastard. So that's about it for my little tips that you should be doing in the WoW Legion pre-patch to make as much gold as you can before WoW Legion. Of course, these tips can be used on all expansions. It's a frame of mind, but these are the tips now for the WoW Legion pre-patch. Have I missed anything? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and check out my other content. It's pretty funny. I do some play of the games, you know, a parody of Overwatch. I did the World of Warcraft ones for Varian, Sylvanas, and Gul'dan for the Broken Shore. Check those out. They're pretty good. And be sure to check out my other playlist. Till next time, Ninja Kuma out. Bye.